You're listening to Experience This, a show about the emerging experience economy with your host, Tom Young.
Great. Hey, this is Tom Young. Welcome to the show. Let's go around the room.
Wendy and
Shawn.
This is Karen.
Great. Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, today, in our continuing conversation around Experience This, we're going to talk about this concept that's kind of taken over some of the golf world called Topgolf. And Topgolf is a new golf experience. If you haven't done it, think of it like golf driving range meets bowling. But it's a little more hipper than that. And even bowling alleys are changing, but Topgolf is really changing the whole driving range business and changing the whole paradigm of what golf is. So now we did an event there last year, and it was a lot of fun. And you think I've been there about 2 or 3 times. It's every time I go, it's jam packed.
It was my first time there, actually. I had heard about it because I think it's been around for a bit, but that was my first time going.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Wendy, was that your first time there?
Yep, it was my first time.
Now, did everybody have fun? I assume you guys, it was a lot of fun, right? There's drinking,
fun,
food. Now, if you don't know what it is, and we have in the background, we'll throw in some videos from their promotional videos from their website. But think of it as it's a driving range. The golf balls are automatically fed out to the mat, and there's an automatic scoring system. So the balls have RFID or radio frequency ID tags to them. So when you hit the balls, they track the balls on where they're going, and there are targets all around the driving range. So you play for competition for points. So you can play for accuracy, for distance, for trick shots, all kinds of different things, and it keeps score like bowling, right? So you can have 10 rounds, just like 10 frames, and it's a lot of fun.
Really good for group. I mean, I think it's set up primarily for groups. Have you ever gone by yourself? Like, is it a driving range? It's not that, and a group entertainment thing,
I think,
right?
If you're a golf aficionado, it's not that. I mean, I guess you could go there and just to hit balls. It's probably more expensive than going to a regular range, but it's more of a social thing. When I've been there, it's been packed. I mean, there's just lots and lots of people. And we read, Karen, you showed us that Forbes article.
Yeah.
51% of the people aren't golfers who go there.
Which I thought was phenomenal. They basically were saying that, especially with millennials, a lot of millennials aren't really into golf. I mean, I think the perception, and the article talks about it too, is that golf historically has been, branded with an older crowd that has money, probably retired. And yet 51% of the people that go to Topgolf don't fit that demographic, and they're not traditional golfers. So it's cool. They're actually catering to beginners, probably all the way up to advanced golfers who go there for fun.
Right. Well, I think part of the issue is just this issue we see growing. People don't want to spend the time. If you're going to go play around the golf, it's door to door is probably a 6-hour investment. In terms of getting there, playing 4+ hours, everything, it's probably a 6-hour, and that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
So.
Their owners actually said, their reasoning for creating this was the time factor for golf and the lackluster driving range issues. So there aren't that many great driving ranges. So they wanted to solve it, and they just used that new microchip technology to track the balls and just put it all together.
So, Wendy, when you interacted with them, we did a party last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good, right?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought they were...
Didn't they have like a catering manager there and for parties? They actually catered to that.
They did. You can pretty much go on the website, though, and set your group, how many people, your party size, age ranges. They follow up with you and give you suggestions. I mean, you're not going to do the same for a corporate event as you would for a kid's party.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah.
But it really reaches. It's good. It's a good time out with young and old kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for families.
Yeah.
And good for corporate outings.
And I think they are really prizing themselves on being at the forefront of customer service and building customer experiences. Really cool story also from that Forbes article was, and it just goes to show what level of personal detail they give their guests. There was a 11-year-old girl who had her birthday party there, and they brought out some guacamole, and the guac had too much stuff in it, stuff that she didn't like. So usually most restaurants would probably give you a refund or try to replace it. But at Topgolf, the chef himself came out and chatted with the 11-year-old girl and talked to her about things that he liked and made her a simpler version of the guacamole. I mean, I was like, wow, it's
that's
pretty
cool.
I don't know if
That's
they do that
great.
all the time, but it's really good that they.
Especially for how crazy that place is to do that. It seems
really good,
outrageous.
right?
Yeah.
So there was a couple of my cousins are golf pros, and family is very into golf and has been my whole life, right? So, and one of my cousins is a pro at my parents' club in Virginia Beach, and then another one, my cousin Rob, is a part owner of a golf resort in Jupiter, Florida. Mm-hmm. And so I get to see the business side of this as well. And I also, being on the town council here or township committee, I get to see some of the business side of local businesses around golf and the investment in real estate and the cost of maintaining and operating, et cetera. But there was an article that came out, or a research that came out last year, that said the number of golfers who can, and I'm not exactly sure how they categorize it, but it's an interesting study because I'm sure they had a consistency in the definition. But the number of golfers in 2002 was 30 million people. In 2016, it was 20.9.
Wow.
So it's a major drop, and you see
Yeah.
it's a demographic shift, and I think it has a lot to do with time. People don't want to spend the kind of time, and there's too many competing issues for time. So Topgolf is going in the other direction. It's exploding in popularity. They're building them all over the place, and it's actually changing. And the fact that 51% of the people who go there aren't golfers is great for the golf industry.
Yeah, it is. The Topgolf locations are all very massive. I mean, these are hugely capital intensive
There's
setups.
54 of them, by the way, now.
Yeah.
In the U.S.?
There's 54 altogether in the world. There's 50 in the U.S., 3 in UK, and 1 in Australia.
And they're growing Well, you said they're capital intensive. They're not, for the amount of business they do, they're not that capital intensive.
I think it said somewhere it costs like 18 million
Per
startup,
location?
per location startup, but they make like 25 a year.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so it's more about how can they don't want to oversaturate the market. They're mostly
Exactly.
in major markets.
Yep.
But it's a fun thing to do. Now the issue is, it's driving a resurgence and interest in golf. Like I took my daughter to Topgolf, and now she's a little more into golf now. So she wants to go to the driving range. I think we're playing this weekend for Father's Day. We're going to go out and play on a regular course. And she's 15, so it'll be interesting to see if she keeps it up. But I thought it was very, it's coming from a golf family, it was very interesting to see how many people you typically don't see in a golf environment at Topgolf having a good time. To me, it was more like bowling than it was golf.
I think they make it less intimidating for first-time golfers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who've never golfed before that are not used to going on a golf course, and it's a little bit more fun because it is kind of like a driving range, but it has atmosphere, it has restaurants, it has a bar.
Plus, it has games where it's like a lot of it's luck too. So
Yes.
it's a little bit of a little easier on beginners.
Yeah. Well, a lot of driving ranges are not that nice.
No.
Yeah, that's
Or if they're
Kinda
really
just-
nice, they're typically attached to a golf club, which is not inviting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So at my cousin's club in Jupiter, he has a beautiful driving range, and it has 2 sets of tees facing each other, and they're set apart by about 300 yards. So you have the main ones from the main clubhouse shooting out, and then in the back tees, the pros go back there, and instructors go back and give lessons, hitting the other way. And there's another technology coming out. So the Topgolf uses the RFID, which is a radio frequency ID chips inside the ball, so they're able to locate where it's at. But there's another technology, and you'll see it on TV today in the major tournaments. So I think the U.S. Open is this weekend.
I don't know.
starts today.
Not an
Oh
avid
no,
golfer.
yeah, tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow the U.S. Open starts
Yeah,
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yep.
So you'll see if people watch the major tournaments, they watch the Masters. There's this top tracer, which they'll place some lasers, and they'll track the ball and they'll show the arc of the ball and where it goes and the speed, the height. Well, now they're going to start to add that to competitors to Topgolf. And like my cousin's range, they're going to put that kind of stuff in there as part of the instruction. And what ends up happening is you can charge quite a premium for these things, and it's quite lucrative.
So now is that saying that you basically are getting a lesson while you're there? Is that what it's, or is it just if you're already good, you care about the arc and want to know how the ball's tracking?
All right, so think of an old school driving range where I just show up and I have a bucket of balls and I tee them, I just whack them and hit them. And now you can get we have up on the screen, you can see the arcs. You can have a contest who can hit the ball the highest, who can hit the farthest, who can hit the highest spin rate, who can hit all kinds of interesting stuff.
Well, they do offer lessons too, so
Yeah.
this could be used for that as well.
All kinds of stuff. I mean, Top Tracer is great if you're like an advanced golfer and you're trying to learn how to hit different shaped shots and things like that. But as I think of the Topgolf, it's more anytime you can provide that informational feedback so you can score it and turn it into a game. And take this notion that I've got to spend 6 hours. I have to be really – because here's the other thing. If you're not a good golfer, you really can't go on a course.
That's why it's so challenging for beginners. Like I'm afraid to even start. I've never been golfing before, and I don't even know how to start.
You
Once was enough, and you need to keep it moving.
I would be
Did you
terrible.
play, Wendy?
Yes.
Well,
And where did you play?
Basking Ridge.
At the Basking Ridge Golf? And how was that? You picked up the ball a lot?
No, I mean it was a fun. I've actually played twice. The other one is a golf course in it's in South Jersey near Colts Neck.
Don't
in that
say
area.
Cherry Hill.
No. Not that far south.
I don't know.
Not that
I was going to
far
say
south.
If Valley. If you said Pine Valley, it's like the hardest course in the world to get on.
And if you stink, people get frustrated because they're waiting behind you.
So are people just hovering behind you, waiting for you to get the ball into the hole and move on?
Sometimes, yeah. Unless they're
That's kind of intimidating.
No,
unless they're having cocktails and
It's not as intimidating as someone heckling you while you're doing it, but they're heckling you silently and you know it.
They're
So-
judging you.
It's extremely
they are.
Oh, absolutely judging.
Yeah, of course.
And with a level of contempt.
Yeah.
So you're playing, and imagine you've got a par 4, 400 yards. You hit the ball, and if you're not a good golfer, you're going to take
10,
16,
12,
20
15,
shots,
yeah.
and you're gonna whiff 3 or 4 times or more.
This is why no one golfs.
That's
you
exactly right.
have to practice in your backyard
Right.
until you're good enough.
You have to get lessons to start.
Right,
You
but
have to.
Yeah.
so which is a
absolutely.
barrier, which is why 30 million became 20 million, and why Topgolf just allowed, hey, just go hit it, and if you whiff, who cares?
Yeah.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
Eat some more guacamole that was custom made by the chef.
It's almost like the Planet Fitness no judgment zone. They've adopted that motto. Because
Yeah.
Planet
Yeah.
Fitness has that for the gyms, right?
Yeah.
So is that changing on the golf course?
Yeah, so like this past year, the USGA passed a rule to help speed up play, which is don't take the pin out. So people used to get on the green and then take the pin out, and there's a whole protocol about putting and who's furthest away, don't step on anyone's line. There's a lot of rules that I take for granted because I've been playing my whole life. But I go with people who are first timers and I'm like, ooh man, it's like they don't get it, and I understand they don't get it. I don't, but it's very intimidating if you haven't played.
Yep.
And I can see why people just don't bother. There's too many competing alternatives.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like it's way
exactly.
too technical, and you got to.
So if you go to Topgolf and you have a good time, you hit the ball, and you're able to make contact on a regular and do that stuff, then so like this weekend, I got my 3 kids, and it's Father's Day, and we're gonna go play 9 holes in the Shannock here, and they have what's called an academy course. So it's a county course. They have 27 holes of regular, and this is a good course. Like they do USGA tournaments there. They did US Women's Amateur was there. It's a really nice course. They have 27 real regular holes, and then they have 9 holes. It's called the academy course. So it's really for beginners. So it's designed for people who've never played before, but it's maintained to the same level as a regular course.
I think you should take Karen and I
All
to
right.
a course on a busy Sunday morning for like a 7 a.m. tee off. And I think the team
So Jordan will come.
Jordan will video the
videotape.
whole thing.
And we'll. So here's what we'll do.
We'll see if we're all back Monday morning working for you.
No, we'll actually go one weekday morning this summer. We'll just go do it. They price it so it's like $15 a play. It's not that much, and it's really designed. It's short. It's a short holes, but it's maintained to the regular standard of a golf course. So you get a sense of what it feel like, and it's for learners. So you go out there, and you should expect people out there who don't know how to play. So they lowered that intimidation bar. So my youngest daughter's 15 today. It's her birthday. We're going to Topgolf tonight, which is why we're doing this show, and we'll play this Sunday, and it'll be the first time. Now I've taken her to the range a few times, and she struggled. I mean, she wanted to hold the ball like the club like a hockey stick, and keep her hands apart. I'm like, no, that's not the way it works, and that's what she was comfortable with. I'm like, well, then you can't play, And it's not Happy Gilmore. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
But then I took her and her friends to pitch and putt. Now you guys are familiar with pitch and putt?
No.
Wait. Wait.
Really? You never heard of pitch and putt?
No, I think you're using a term, pitch and putt, but it's kind of
No, it's a thing.
no.
Pitch and putt?
Mini golf.
Mini golf?
Mini golf.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
It's pitch and putt. Is that what you're trying to describe?
Are you saying mini golf?
What's your
No.
definition of pitch and putt?
It's mini golf.
It's a
basically.
mini.
No.
It's mini golf.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to describe mini golf, and then
Oh boy.
Karen's going to type in the term pitch and putt and see what shows up. It's not a made-up thing. It's not an inside golf term. I hope it's not. Anyway, mini golf is like arcade-style putting and these crazy things. You putt through a windmill, you hit into a whale's mouth, it comes out the blowhole,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, when I was a kid, my uncle, the father of the two golf pros, he ran a miniature golf place, and so we played as kids all the time, and we got really good at it. So like when they opened up a miniature golf course here in town, I played in the tournament to open it up and won the tournament. It was great. It was a lot of fun. We learned how to play miniature golf. There's a whole technique to it. There's actually a miniature golf pro. But pitch and putt, you have it up there. Pitch and putt is short par threes in a short, small layout. The holes are 50 to 100 yards, and you go with two clubs, a pitching wedge and a putter. And you just carry the two clubs around, and you hit the ball, and it's for really beginners. It's supposed to be fun.
It was actually invented in Ireland.
Yeah.
Pitch and putt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wendy's looking up on her iPhone, violating our podcast rules. The rules don't
Okay.
apply to you, Wendy. So, no offense. So anyway, pitch and putt is that was been around when I was a kid, and we did a lot. That was a lot of fun, and they do it at night too. You can put lights out because it's a small layout, and people play at night. It's a lot of fun, but it's the academy course takes pitch and putt halfway to the course, and then we have a regular course.
So growing up, was there ever like kind of what Topgolf has done? Were there any inklings of that
Yeah, it
type
was
of
called
setup?
bowling.
No, that's true. I think that's right. That's what it reminds me of. Bowling meets the driving range, and
Well, bowling alleys have taken it to the next level too. So I know local bowling lanes, they definitely offer music and
Change the
entertainment
lights,
and change the
black
lights.
lighting.
Oh,
But-
there's one that opened up at Rutgers, like
Really?
right near our school, and they changed. It's like a nightclub at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the one
Yeah,
in the city, because they're the two big ones.
Lucky Strike.
Yeah, is a full blown nightclub at night. A red carpet and ropes, and you have to wait outside, and girls are in high heels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
too much.
they're bowling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're dressed up as if you're going to a club. There's a club aspect to it, and then there's lanes, but it's very fancy, upscale cocktails.
Now that's an
Bowling.
experience.
Yeah, I mean they've taken
Yeah.
bowling to the next level with the city vibe.
They just transitioned
no,
the
but-
bowling thing to.
But
to
you know,
golf.
what they're doing is they're putting a social element to it, and they're making it more fun. I mean, it's not just people aren't just going to bowl; they're going to hang out, and they happen to be bowling.
Yeah.
People aren't going to golf; they're going to Topgolf to hang out and have fun, and they happen
They're
to hit
going to
golf
drink.
balls.
They're going to eat. They're going to play, socialize.
right,
All of it. Yeah.
all of those things, and it's we all went last year. It was fun, right?
Yeah,
It was a lot more fun than Bury the Hatchet.
Yeah. Well,
That's another.
So let's compare. We did 2 events kind of back to back. We did Topgolf and then Bury the Hatchet, which is hatchet throwing.
Yeah.
Or axe throwing.
Axe throwing, yeah.
I didn't like that.
It was fun for about an hour, half an hour.
To me, it was fun for 7 minutes.
It's just very repetitive.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, golf is.
And
yeah.
You know what? I think they lacked the
ambiance.
the rest of the stuff. It wasn't like we didn't have drinks, we didn't have food.
It was
we didn't have
BYOB.
music. Yeah.
And it was no food. It was just in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, are we really throwing axes and drinking?
Yeah.
It's like skeet shooting with whiskey. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, that's the thing. There's like this whole dangerous element to axe throwing.
People enjoy that though.
I guess, yeah. I personally didn't like the axe throwing. The Topgolf is again very popular. I'll take some pictures tonight, and we'll maybe throw those into the production notes.
Golf actually reminds me so much of skiing. It's one of those where like, if you don't do it when you're young, it's like so hard to transition into when you're older. You know, like I started skiing just a couple of years ago, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was so hard because it's so embarrassing as like a full adult to be going down like mini mountains or like really just blues and just like tumbling and looking so dumb, you know. But and
So
it's
they
there's also a
scream
huge
yard
there's a huge burden to get in. Like I had to spend like God knows how much, $700, $800 on skis and all the gear and everything, plus lift tickets and all of that. So it's like it's like so many reasons just not to jump into it when you're older, which I think is golf is the same reason, which is why I've never gone golfing. It just feels like I have to buy all these clubs and then I have to get lessons or something because I'm going to look really dumb first time I go with my friends. I don't want to hold them back.
And thinking of the social aspect, so skiing to me in the States is a little bit isolated. You're kind of just going down the runs by yourself. But in Europe, they do après ski. And so you're basically...
What's that mean?
So après ski involves drinking. So you basically go down a slope.
Like a pub crawl.
Yeah, while you're on the mountain. So halfway down, they'll have a bar. And then they bring in, like the ones in Switzerland and Austria, they bring in world-renowned DJs. And they're spinning in the middle of the day, and everyone's having a party. You stay there for a couple hours, and then you ski down the rest of the mountain, and then you party at the base of the mountain. So it's much more interactive and social than just going up and down the mountain on runs.
Yeah, when I went to Austria skiing and went to Kitzbühel, and I remember there being a couple places where we could stop and have beers along the way, and that was fun, but. I'm not much of a skier, but I know what you're saying. It's the same thing. If you know, I never want to go on anything other than a blue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all these people want to go down these double black diamonds. Saying, have fun. I'll meet you at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, it's too much.
It's also a problem if you have like friends that are really good. You never want to be holding them back. And
well, you really can't. So that's the thing. If you have an expert skier friend and you're a blue person like you or me, you can go to the event, but you can't participate together.
Exactly.
You just can't.
You can't, yeah.
And you can't participate. So golf has the ability to handicap the system, and you can play, a good player can play a bad player or an average player, but you have to have a base level of proficiency just to participate.
Exactly, yeah.
So tennis is another one where if I'm really good, I can't play with somebody who stinks.
Yeah.
It's just not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
For both people.
For both people.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's hitting heaters in at 120 miles an hour. You're like, what was that?
Yeah.
A mosquito just flew by. No, that was a tennis ball, and you're down 15 love.
Yeah.
When did you play tennis?
I used to.
Really? Were you good?
No.
Oh.
I hated it. I hated it.
All right. Well,
Wasn't my favorite sport.
I used to play, but I used to play with people of the same caliber. And my friends none of us were really any good. We were just having fun hitting the ball around.
It's always the most fun in any sport when you're playing.
It was because of those people
What?
that you played with that would just shoot the ball at you and you thought it was a mosquito that you're like, yep, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah.
So how is it for you? Because you're a pretty good golfer.
Yeah.
I would say you're above average.
Yes. Yeah.
Far above,
way
above average.
above average.
Yeah.
So how was it for you to be at Topgolf because there was quite a few beginners?
Irritating.
No. It was just fun. I was more drinking in the whole thing and seeing what was happening, and I'm a little freakish in the way I was looking around the business model. Where are they making money? They had a gift shop, a pro shop where they sold gear. They had a restaurant in the bar. I was looking at how they were set up for everything. And then I was also trying to understand how their setup was, and I was frustrated that the balls had about, at least when we were playing, maybe a 10 to 15% failure rate.
Yeah, I remember that.
And if you're playing for money, which would make it a hell of a lot more fun, is to play for money. You can't rely on. You need it 100%.
What do you mean? What was failing?
Remember the
No,
distance?
you'd hit the balls and they just wouldn't register.
Yeah, they wouldn't calculate.
I hit like there's one you hit him into the fence, you get 8 points and whatever it was, and I was hitting right into the fence. I saw it go in, and it's like nothing, 0. I'm like, the ball's not working. This didn't register. And so if you're playing for money, that was a problem. But to me, it's not meant for expert golfers. It's to have fun and get out there, and I like it because it makes it accessible.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like it is because my 2 daughters now want to play more. Like Sarah's 24. She just bought her first set of clubs. She bought them and they're sitting in the foyer. She might bring them out tonight.
And how many times has she played?
They're still in the box, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. She's going to use them tonight. And her and her sister hopefully will share those clubs and they hit the ball tonight. And TJ's going and Vicky, and it'll be fun. We'll have a good time.
It's a lot better than, I mean, historically, people used to have to be a member of a golf club, and those membership fees, from what I heard, are absolutely exorbitant.
Well, so like right down the road here is Trump National, where he did it's one of his clubs here in Bedminster. When they opened up, it was $250,000 initiation fee, non-refundable.
Oh my God.
And then it cost, I think, about $30,000 a year in dues. And now it's down to $150,000.
No comment.
Right, well, I'm just saying it's a lot of money.
Yeah, ton.
So no, that's at one end of the spectrum. That's probably one of the most expensive ones. There are ones that it doesn't matter what the expenses, you just can't get in. So like my parents' club in Virginia Beach is one of the more popular ones down there. They're probably $30,000, $40,000 to get in.
Still a lot.
And then you have to pay, I would say $600-700 a month. It's not
For what?
Just dues. Like typically, it's a food minimum. So they bill you a minimum, and if you can use it or lose it. Meaning that if your bar bill and your food bill is $900, you get you just pay that. But if you don't do anything that month, you owe the minimum because they got to keep the cash flow for the club going. So
Okay,
the
that makes sense.
local club here, where Frank on our team is a member, they're not doing well. Largely because of this collapse in golfers. They're probably charging $20,000 to get in. It's not that expensive if it's a big part of your life. Like my parents, the club is a huge part of their life.
Right.
And the expense in that sense is incidental. Plus, they joined the club 30 years ago, and they paid whatever it was, $25,000, $30,000 back then. That's what they paid. It's equivalent to maybe a timeshare or two.
Yeah.
It's good for them though. It's healthy for them to
Yeah.
get
Well,
out there.
it's a huge
and
part of their life. I
a
mean, their
social-
friends come from there. They
Yeah.
hang out there. It is 80% of their social life comes from that club, and it has a swimming pool, tennis, yacht clubs. There's a lot of fun we go there, and they'll have Friday night cookout at the yacht club, and they set up tents around the yachts, and they have cookout and I think they charge per head, like whatever, $12, $15 a head, and just all you can eat barbecue. It's great. And it's a fun atmosphere to be there. People know each other. It's a safe place. It's fun.
Yeah, they're really maximizing the use of the amenities, which is probably because it's kind of like paying a price tag to live at a full service apartment building in Manhattan.
But anyway, but we're talking about Topgolf. But I want to go back to our original principles here. It seems that the products and services that are going to start doing well, even in the face of secular declines in the base thing, like golf is in secular decline.
Yeah.
It's down 33% in the last 12, 15 years in terms of participation. But when you're able to introduce a social element to a product or a service and combine other things like drink and food and other types of experiences with that, the market is there for that.
Plus lower the barrier of entry.
Lower the barrier of entry and make it easily accessible and democratize it essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
There's a lot of opportunities there.
Definitely.
So we'll have to look for this and think about what are some other products and services that don't have a good access. Tennis may be one of the ones that's next. How can they take social and make a tennis more accessible to people? I don't want to speculate here, but there's other things that are going to take this social
Hostels
dynamic.
for accommodations.
Right.
They're
Well-
coming. They're
Yeah.
coming in the States. They're coming here.
Yeah. Sean's a big advocate of hostels. I think
That was a good plug for hostels
I know.
on this
I
podcast.
just figured I'd get one in there.
but it also, Karen, gets to what you and I talk about is the exploring communal living,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what they're kind of doing
Yeah.
in some ways.
So I think that's a new way to travel. So rather than travel for luxury and privacy, it's travel for a social diversity from your base life.
Yep.
Right. So I get that. That'll be something we'll talk about in the future. Sean, maybe for another show, you could research what's going on with hostels in America because
Yeah.
it's really a European
My
thing.
friend is
Yeah.
on the board of directors for a hostel company here, so I could
Okay.
have him.
That'd be great.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. I'll take pictures tonight.
Awesome. Let us know
All
how
right,
it
thanks.
is.
All right, see you,
Thanks,
everybody.
yeah.
All right, bye.
But
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Karen, I think you were supposed to say that.
Yeah, thanks. I'll take it from here.
All right, well, we got to do this is the new Outcast.
Oh, the
Is it called-
outro. The outro.
I think Outcast is a new word. All
Okay.
right, outro. We're doing a new outro. We got to cover a few things.
All right.
One is what? Subscription.
Do you subscribe through?
We want people to subscribe to this, not just listen to it occasionally.
Okay, yeah. Check
The
us out.
second thing is nothing's better than what? A 5-star rating.
Always 5 stars.
Got to give us the 5 stars because we get better search outcomes. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is comments.
We need those.
Yeah,
we
we-
need your feedback.
We want to know what people are thinking. So you can check us out. The best way to do it if you're not sure, some people don't know how to do it. Go to our website. You can check it out. We'll have a full set of instructions. So whatever app you're using. Most people use, what do you use, Karen?
I use Spotify.
You do?
Yeah.
So we have Spotify, we have iTunes, YouTube. There's a whole bunch. Whatever you use, we have it. And if we don't have it, let us know, and we'll try to figure out how to get it.
We can send you a paper-based instruction.
Actually, we do have paper-based instructions, even though that's a fun inside joke to our team. So anyway,
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and check us out in our next shows.
Thanks. See ya.